good morning. Thank you so much for joining me for today's at-home full body live workout. Today is Valentine's Day. It also happens to be my birthday. I'm really looking forward to this workout with you this morning. It's going to be great. I've planned a sequence using a single dumbbell. Now you can do the moves without any weight. This is a 4-kilo dumbbell, so it's about 8.8, just under 9 pounds. So you could go heavier, you could go lighter, or you could go no weight at all. You could also use 2 dumbbells. So if you have 2 lighter dumbbells, you could use both of them. You could put ankle weights on your wrists or your palms, whatever you would like to do. Weight or no weight, it's gonna be a good one. So let's get right into it. I'm going to place this weight off to the side of the mat because we're going to warm up the body. We're going to focus on that scapula stabilization and also warm up the lower body. So in order to do so, we're going to get into an all fours position. We're going to position the wrists so they're below the shoulders and the knees are below the hips. We've got our spine in neutral, so no overarching here. We want to sort of gently tuck the tailbone and pull the belly in toward the spine. From here, we're going to extend the right arm and extend the left leg. Now we want to keep the left hip level with the right hip and the right shoulder level with the left shoulder. From here, I'm going to lift the right arm and lower, then lift the left leg and lower. So we're keeping the hips square with the mat and both shoulders completely level as we move between lifting the arm and the leg. I want you to try to find a lot of length as you do so, really reaching through those fingertips and lengthening through those toes. Nice straight arm, nice straight leg. Being careful not to arch the spine as you lift that leg. Good. Now, as you get comfortable with the movement, you can start to give it a little bit more energy. So kind of contracting your shoulder muscles, using that upper back to raise the arm, and then working those thighs and engaging those glutes to lift the leg. Good. Alternating between the two. Last one. And now we're going to elevate both arm and leg together. Now, if that's too much, you can go back to going with the arm, then the leg, then the arm, then the leg. Otherwise, we're inhaling, plugging belly to spine and lifting and holding. Good. Lower and lift. Inhale and exhale. Keeping those shoulders level. Focusing on that scapula stability. Good. Focusing on length and glute engagement as we practice our balance and focus on stability. Good. We've got 3. Really lengthen. 2, as though you are reaching for opposite ends of the room with those fingers and toes. And last one. Nice work. Take your arm down, take your knees wide and push back into child's pose, stretching and lengthening through the spine. I really want you to kind of envision that you're lengthening your tailbone toward the wall behind you. So you're really lengthening through the spine, creating space between each of the vertebrae. Breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth to return to our all fours position. Let's warm up the other side. So we're going to extend the right leg out long, extend the left arm, focusing on those hips being level, those shoulders being level as we lift one and then the other. Lift and lengthen, alternating arm and leg. Now you want your gaze to be down on the mat. We want to keep the neck in line with the spine. And just a tiny little micro bend in that stabilizing arm. So in the right elbow, so that we're not locking out the elbow here. Good. Move even more slowly if you need to find that stability and balance. Good work. Lengthening and lifting for 3. Abs in. For 2. And 1. Nicely done. Now, staying in the same position, we're lifting arm and leg together and lowering. Again, if that's too much, just switching between the two. Good. Lift and lengthen. Hold in that balanced position and then lower. Working that balance. Working that control. Good work. Lengthen, stretch through those toes and fingertips. We've got 3 and 2 and final 1. Lengthen, lower your hands down toward the mat. Take those knees nice and wide and push back into your child's pose, stretching and lengthening through the spine for 3 and 2 and 1. Good work. Okay, now I'm moving back into my all fours, and we're going to use our weight here. If you're not using your weight for this one, I want you to just make a fist as you pull that elbow back and really focus on muscle engagement. You can still feel the work without any weight at all. If you're holding a weight, I'd like you to take it in your right hand. Left wrist is below left shoulder, knees are below the hips. Abs are engaged. We're going to draw that elbow up, keeping the arm in close toward the side of the body, and then lower. Just hover the weight above the floor and then pull it back up, really contracting those upper back muscles. Now again, we were just practicing on keeping those shoulders level. I want you to do the same here. So even though you're hefting that weight up, you don't want to be really lifting up and opening on that right side. You want to keep those shoulders level, keep your gaze down on the mat, and really focus on getting that elbow up nice and high as you contract the upper back muscles on that right side. Good. We've got 4 and 3. Pull it up for 2. And final 1, we're going to hold it there for 5, 4, lift the elbow a bit higher, 2 and 1. Nice work, switch sides. Okay, so getting nice and stable across those shoulders before we pick up the weight. Deep inhale to prepare, and exhale, pull that elbow up. Good. Rather than using that arm to get the lift, I want you to use those upper back muscles to contract and lift that elbow up. Good. Again, keeping that left shoulder level with the right. Abs are engaged here for extra stability in the trunk. We've got 4 and 3. Really contract those muscles for 2. And last one, we're going to hold for 5, 4, 3. Lift a bit higher. 2 and 1. Relax it down. Amazing work. Okay, now from here, we're going to get into some bicep work. We're going to hold the weight like so, pulling the weight toward the shoulders. Now, if you're not using weight, you can just make fists and just contract those upper arms as you bring your fist towards your shoulders. If you are holding onto the weight, I'd like you to take it in front of you, holding onto either end of the dumbbell or holding onto 2 weights. And then we're going to bring the weight toward the chest or sort of toward the face. Now, it's okay if your arms aren't up at shoulder height. They can be sort of down at a 45-degree angle, but we want to keep the upper arms really still and stationary as we hinge from the elbows, bringing the weight in. So we don't want to let those arms move up or down, those upper arms. Good. Focusing on keeping the elbows parallel. Good. Not letting them splay out to the side. Nice long neck. Good work. We've got 5. Keep those arms elevated. 4. Don't let the shoulders creep up by the ears. 3. 2. and 1. Relax it down. Amazing. Now from here, I'm going to take my weight, holding in onto the center part so that the weight is lengthwise. Again, if you've got 2 weights for this, you can hold onto them side by side. No weight at all. I'd like you to keep your hands in a prayer position as you hinge from the elbow to work those triceps, bending and extending. With the weight, we're lowering and extending. So hinging from the elbow, keeping the upper arms close in toward the side of the head. Good. Lower and lift. Pushing up with that weight. Trying to keep those upper arms really stationary. Abs are engaged. Extend. Really give it a lot of energy as you push that weight up. Focus on the backs of the arms doing the work. Nicely done. We've got 5, 4, full extension, 3, working those triceps. Good work for 2, and final 1, and release it down. Good. Now we're going to focus on the triceps from a different angle. So I'm going to hold the weight behind me. If you haven't got weight, you're going to use long fingers and pulse the arms up like so. If you have got the weight, hinge from the hip, nice flat back. And from here, we're going to lift and lower. Lift and lower. Lift it up and lower. Squeeze those upper arms to get the lift. Good. Nice flat back. We've got 5, 4, nice work, 3, 2, and 1. Woo, those are tough. I usually do that move with a slightly lighter weight. It was very challenging with that weight, but it felt good. Okay, let's give our shoulders a little bit of a roll. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth, releasing tension. Good. 2 and 1. Nicely done. Now we're going to get into our ab work. I'm going to do all of these moves with weight, but all of them can be done without weight. So I'd like you to roll down 1 vertebra at a time. Use your hands to help you if you need. Get nice and comfortable on your mat. I'm going to take my weight overhead like so. If you haven't got the weight, you've just got long fingers, arms are straight. And from here, I'm going to bend the knees, squeeze the inner thighs together, squeeze the shins together. From here, I'm going to take the weight back a little bit further. Inhale to prepare, and exhale, open the knees, keeping the inside of the feet glued together, and then lower. Peel up, resting head on top of shoulders, and lower. Good. So bringing the weight between the open knees, pausing for a split second, and then closing the knees and lowering down 1 vertebra at a time. So we're inhaling to lower, and we're exhaling to peel up, crunching up. Flattening out the abdominal wall as you open those knees and bring the hands and the weight, or just the hands, between those thighs. Good work. Pressing the low back into the mat as you do so. We've got 3. Lift up a little higher for 2. Nice control. And last 1, and lower. Good work. Okay, now I'm going to change my grip on the weight. I'm going to take both ends of the weight in my hands, and I'm going to stretch the legs out long. Now you have a couple of options here. One is to keep the knees bent as you roll up and down. Some people find that a little bit easier. Otherwise, you've got your legs hip distance apart. You're going to take the weight, or just your hands overhead, palms facing in. Inhale to peel up, and exhale to lower the weight to shoulder height. Lift it up and lower it again, bringing belly in toward the spine. Now, if it's too much for you to roll all the way down to the mat, you're going to roll part way down, engage the core, lift up, and repeat. Okay, so we're C-curving either part way down or all the way down for our full roll up. Good. Lowering and all the way down. Peel up. Raise the weight up toward the ceiling, down to shoulder height. Good. Nice work. Really engage those abs on your way down, pulling the belly button in toward the spine, squeezing the thighs at the same time. And then as you're coming up, I want you to really get into those upper abs. Use your upper abs to get yourself up. Good. Lower and all the way down. Amazing work. I'm just going to place my weight off to the side for a moment. Take a hold behind the thighs and gently roll up to a seated position. Nice. Now from here, we're going to go into some Russian twists. So we're going to hold onto the weight. If you haven't got weight, I'd like you to shift from side to side, like so, with long fingers. If you are holding the weight, hold on to either end. Curve yourself back into the shape of a C with that spine. Heels are pressing down onto the floor. Legs are parallel, hip distance apart. Now we're going to twist from side to side without letting the hips, without letting the bum cheeks lift off the mat. So as I twist to the left, my right bum cheek is staying down on the mat and vice versa. We want this not to be us to be rocking around in the pelvis a lot. We want this rotation to be happening in the torso. So we're working those obliques as we gently move from side to side, really plugging the navel in, getting as much of a rotation as we can, feeling it into that waistline. Good work. We've got 6, 5, 4, twist a little further, 3, 2, and 1, back to center, and lower all the way down to the mat. Amazing. Okay, from here, we're in our next exercise. Weight comes overhead. Once again, actually I'm going to move down on my mat just a little bit, and I'm going to bring the legs into tabletop. Legs are squeezing together, inside of the feet are glued together. From here, I'm going to tap both toes down to the mat as I bring the weight a little bit further back. And then I'm going to extend the legs, lifting the weight toward the toes. So I'm bending, bringing the weight back, and extending the legs, reaching with that weight. Good. Now, if it's too much for the full extension, I'd like you just to move from tabletop toe taps. So you're lowering and lifting, lowering, lifting like so. Otherwise, full extension. You can lift head, neck, and shoulders for more of a challenge. If you're ready for it, keep those legs glued together. You can also lower between each rep and then lift into a crunch. Find the level of challenge that works for you and lets you move with control and good form. Good. Lower, inhale, lift, exhale. We've got 4. Whew, these are tough. 3, you can do it. 2, flatten that abdominal wall. Last one, we're going to come up and hold and crunch up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax it down. Breathing in through the nose here. and out through the mouth. Now, next exercise, I'm going to give you a couple different options in terms of level of challenge. This is our final ab exercise. So either you've got your hands on either side of your tailbone, protecting your low back, knees are bent as you lower one leg, hinging from the hip, lower the other leg, hinging from the hip. If you really want to step it up, we're going to add the weight. So the weight comes overhead. We're lifting those legs up. We're lowering the weight as we lower one leg, lowering the weight as we lower the opposite leg. So pick your level of challenge. Head can stay down on the mat, or you can elevate it into a crunch. Let's go. Inhaling to lower, belly to spine to lift. Hinging from the hips. Good. Working those lower abs. I know it's tough, but we're nearly there. Strengthening the core. Good. We've got 4, 3, 2, and 1. Amazing. Lower both feet down to the floor. Drop your weight off to the side. And let's just bring our knees in toward our chest. Hugging them in close. Stretching your lower back, regulating your breath. For 3, and 2, and 1. Amazing work. Okay, now we're going to get into our glute and thigh work. We're going to do a bridge series here. You can do it with your weight on your hips, as I'm going to be doing, or with no weight at all. If you're not using the weight, you're keeping your hands and arms pressed down on either side of your body. We want our legs hip distance apart here. Feet and legs are parallel, in line with the hips. We're going to tilt the pelvis back, tucking the tailbone, and then we're going to elevate up into bridge. Now make any little adjustments you need to. You don't want to be overarching here, so don't thrust your hips up too high. You want a nice flat line with the body, and you want your heels below your knees. Let's lower, just hover the bum off the floor, and then lift. Keeping that tailbone tucked. Keeping those legs parallel, so not letting the knees splay out to the side. As we lower with control and lift. Really starting to engage the back body, squeezing those glutes, driving up through those heels as we lower and lift. Lower and lift. Good work. We've got 4, 3, nicely done. 2, keep that tailbone tucked. 3, I lost my count there. Last 1. Okay, I won't make you do an extra one. All right, from here we're going to replace our heels with the balls of our feet, coming onto the toes. From here we're going to widen the knees and then bring them back to parallel. Now if you feel like you're losing stability on your toes, bring your feet back down flat on the floor. Open the knees and bring them back to parallel, holding in the static bridge. It's quite challenging. Keep it up. We've got 5, 4, plug belly to spine. 3, 2, and 1. Nice work. Lower down. Now we're going to bring the soles of our feet together and we're going to bridge up and down. Now I'm going to just place the weight off to the side for a moment so I can show you. Really try to avoid coming up like this. So rounding and through the belly, arching through the spine, that's going to hurt your back. Trust me, I've done it before. It's not fun. So don't worry about how high you get. Really sit, take a moment here. If you've got space between your lower back and the mat, I want you to tilt your pelvis back so your lower back is flat on the mat, and then lift. So notice I'm really not thrusting up too high. Lower and lift, keeping that tailbone tucked, keeping the knees splayed out to the side. Butterfly bridge lifts. Good. Working those glutes, working those thighs as we lower and lift. Lower and lift. I really want you to squeeze your bum cheeks together. Good work. We've got 5 and 4. Last 3 and 2. And final 1. Lift and hold. We'll hold here for 5, for 4, for 3. Keep those hips elevated. 2 and 1. Lower down. Amazing. Okay, use your hands to help you to sit up. And from here, we're going to do one more glute exercise on either leg. And I'm going to use my dumbbell. I'm going to tuck it in behind my knee. Okay, if that's uncomfortable for you, you can do this without weight. I'm going to place my wrists below my shoulders, knees are below the hips. From here, I'm going to lift and lower. Lift and lower. Lift the leg and lower. Good. Squeezing the bum. Lifting with control. Hold on. Oh, I think my video paused just then. Sorry about that, guys. Said I had low battery. Guess my phone didn't charge properly last night. Sorry. Okay, let's carry on. So we're gonna lift and lower. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Really squeezing the glutes as you bring it up and lower it down. Good work. We've got 3 and 2. And final 1, I'd like you to lift it up, flex the foot, little pulses. Good, little pulses up toward the ceiling for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold. Lower down, amazing work. Okay, let's take it over to the other side. I find it a bit awkward getting the weight in place. There we go. If you've got ankle weights, it could be easier using those. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Good work. Squeeze the glutes as you lift that knee. We've got 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now flex the foot and pulse. Little controlled pulses. Good work. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold. And lower down. Amazing work. Get rid of that weight, and we're going to stretch out the lower body. So lay down on your back. Cross your right leg over your left, interlace your fingers, take them behind your left thigh, and hug that left knee in toward the chest. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Lengthening through the spine, keeping the low back connected with the mat. Hug that knee in a little bit closer for 3 and 2 and 1. Now we're going to switch sides. Hands come behind the right thigh as we hug the knee in toward the chest. Really try to connect your low back with the mat. Press your tailbone down into the mat, which will help you to stretch out the lower back as well as the glutes and hips, which is so important to do, especially after bridge work. Hug the knee a little bit closer in towards you for 3 and 2 and 1. Lower both feet to the floor. Use your hands to help you to sit up. From here, we're going to lift the arms overhead and fold over the lower body. Just enjoying a nice back body stretch, stretching the hamstrings here as well. Hold it for 3 and 2 and 1. Roll yourself up to a seated position. Turn and face me, either cross-legged or on your knees. We're going to lift our shoulders up by our ears, and roll them down and back. Let's take 2 more. Lift and melt away tension. Lift and melt away tension. Amazing work. I hope you enjoyed that routine. I hope you have a wonderful day and enjoy the rest of your Valentine's Day. I look forward to moving with you guys next time. See you soon. Bye.